Welcome, everybody. I'm Marc David, founder of the Institute for the Psychology of Eating. We're in the Psychology of Eating podcast. I'm with Kiersten today. Welcome, Kiersten.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here. So here's the idea. You get to be my client for a session, and we get to see if we can help you move forward in anything that is what you're desiring around food and body. So if you could wave your magic wand and get whatever you wanted in the realm of food, in the realm of body, what would that be for you?
I would say freedom from that voice that's in the back of my head, shaming me for where my body is at, giving me just the sense of worthlessness about myself, as well as fear surrounding food, struggle finding a balance in my life. So I would say if I were to wave that wand, it would be freedom from the fear and the shame and finding a balance with food and with my body and being able to enjoy wearing the clothes that I'd like to wear and feeling confident.
Mm-hmm. So are you trying to lose weight these days?
Yes.
And how much weight would you like to lose?
Over 100 pounds.
Over 100 pounds. When was the last time you weighed 100 pounds less?
Right at the beginning of 2020. So a little over 2 years ago.
Wow. So was that the first time that you've had that kind of weight gain?
This much. Yes. Before, the last time was when I was about 16, 17, I started gaining weight rapidly, more so than the rest of my family. So we kind of did the round of doctors and found out that I was hypothyroid. So we got me on medication and I lost about 60 pounds before I graduated high school. But it's been kind of a up and down plateau journey since then. And then I got a pretty good gains before 2020. And then it was all kind of lost.
And when you say pretty good gains, approximately like what range?
In terms of weight loss?
Yes. Weight loss, weight gains.
Yeah. So I would say about 2018, I was tired of the plateau. The 60 pounds I lost in high school was about the halfway mark for me. And so I kind of went up 15, down 15 for a good almost 8 to 10 years after high school. And I got tired of that. I did multiple things. I did keto, HCG, the homeopathic version of that. And I would gain some, lose some, and I just kind of got tired of being stuck where I was when I was 18. And so in about 18, middle of 2019, I started doing, exercise. I got a weight loss coach and I kind of really went for it. And I found that I was successful, but the minute, life came to a crashing halt and some personal things happened, it just kind of all flew out the window. And I weigh more now than the original weight loss back when I was 18. So I'm the heaviest I've ever been.
Mm-hmm. How old are you now?
I'm 30.
Are you living alone?
No, I'm with my husband.
How long have you been married?
We were married at the beginning of 2020. Our wedding was canceled. So we ended up eloping a month early. But yeah, we kind of started that whole journey right at the beginning.
Mm-hmm. So when did you first notice kind of the critical voice in your head that would judge your body? When did that first start happening for you?
When did I notice it happening? I would probably say I was aware of it in my late teens. But I know it was present for significantly longer than that, but I started becoming aware of its constant presence in high school.
Mm-hmm. And for this last period of weight gain that started in 2020, what do you attribute it to? So when you talk to yourself and say, oh, I gained weight because?
A variety of things. I think the first thing is if I'm not strict to a plan, like whether it's keto or whatever the decision I've made is, I'm kind of all or nothing, 0 to 100. And so if I'm not sticking to a plan, I kind of just fall off. And when everything happened in 2020, my wedding was canceled. I had like interpersonal troubles with my family of origin, like a lot of emotional things came up. And I think I just thought I can't hold up everything. And that was the one thing that went, was I stopped exercising and I just started kind of eating my feelings. And it's the first time in my life, it was probably midway through 2020 that I woke up and I noticed the weight gain. It really crept up on me. It was kind of surreal. I think it was because of my mental health that all of a sudden one day I was like, where did all of this weight come from? And then that caused just giving up because of how much work I'd put into losing it. It felt like all of that was lost.
Mm-hmm. And when you turn to food for emotions or to soothe yourself, what does that look like for you?
So that typically looks like not worrying about quantity or calories consumed. So for example, I don't portion things out. I'll grab a bag of potato chips or a bowl of ice cream. And my husband and I have different schedules for food. I wake up really early and I kind of start with small meals throughout the day, whereas he eats a really big meal at the end of the day. And so when we were trying to kind of figure out a balance when we got married, I found I was eating throughout the day and then joining him for a big meal at the end of the day. And so it was just a steady flow of that. And I worked for a company that at the beginning of COVID, right when I got married, they gave us 6 weeks of just paid time at home. And so I just found myself at home with nothing to do. So there's some of that just boredom. And having something to look forward to was kind of taken away. So food kind of filled that spot of something to enjoy and look forward to.
Any particular foods you find that you turn to when you're bored or when you just want to feel good?
Yeah, I mean, I tend to crave a lot of salty, so potato chips, French fries are favorites. I also love, chocolate, ice cream. Those are the, if I'm not caring at all, those are definitely the snacky things that I'll just give into.
Mm-hmm. And when you've lost weight in the past, how does it feel in your body?
It feels better. I've never lost or found myself at the weight or the weight range that I've wanted to be. So even when I felt better and more confident, and I'll notice things like, oh, my skin is clearing up. Oh, I have more energy. It's easier to be on my feet all day at work or whatever it is. Functioning is easier. I have less chronic pain. I've never gotten to the point where I'm confident with who I see in the mirror. Even when I lost that significant amount of weight, I've never been like, oh, I can buy this size on the rack and not worry that they don't have, my size. So even though I've reached certain goals, I've never felt that sense of peace and confidence and just being okay with myself and my body.
Mm-hmm. Can you remember any time in life, like even being a young kid, when you sort of had that peace?
No. Even looking back on pictures of me when I was 7, 8 years old, I had more weight on me than my sisters. And I remember comments made at a young age that made me hyper aware of my body. The first time I was put on a diet, I was probably 11 or 12. My mom put me on a diet. So that concept of there's something wrong with me in my body has been there for as long as I can remember.
Mm-hmm. How's your relationship with your mom these days?
Non-existent.
Mm-hmm. How do you feel about that?
It was a choice I made because it was so toxic, and there had been several attempts for working through things and it just wasn't happening. And so I had to remove myself, and it grieves me a lot. I definitely had to come to a final decision about that right around the time I got married. And that brought me a lot of pain because it's not what I'd want. I grew up in a really close family. There were dysfunctions there, and I definitely got the brunt of some of it, but I love my family. I'm just not in a place where I can take the the abuse anymore. And it's been better for me, but yeah, it's still something I grieve over.
Does your family judge your body even these days?
I don't know. None of them speak to me now.
Mm-hmm.
I would assume so. That's definitely a thought I have is, if I ran into them in the grocery store, they'd see how much weight I'd gain. That's definitely I feel like a thing in my mind. I can't really speak to, I just can speak to how I felt with them when I was growing up, and it was judgment. There was a lot of talk about others in a way that was judgmental. So even if it wasn't always about me, it'd be like, oh, look at that person, look at how much weight they've gained. So it was an internalizing of that's how we look at people.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
So when you, and I know I'm jumping around here, but there's definitely a method to the madness. When you imagine to yourself, yeah, when I lose X amount of weight, 100 pounds, 110 pounds, whatever it is, when I hit my goal, here's what's going to be different. Other than the fact that you lost weight, what do you tell yourself? What are you looking forward to about this new you?
I'm looking forward to less pain. I have a lot of back pain and things, and it's increased with the weight gain. I'm looking forward to more mobility. My husband and I want to have kids in the next few years, and I want to be able to keep up with them. So I imagine that losing the weight, I'll be able to have more energy, and be able to do more things physically than I can do right now. But I also would look forward to being able to choose clothes that I want to wear instead of the ones that I have to, and be comfortable and confident in what I'm wearing, opposed to stressing for the next day about the outfit I'm going to wear because I want to look nice, but I know I don't have anything that I feel nice in. And I think that I would also feel more confident just as a woman, with my husband and in the career field I want to go into. Like, I think all aspects of my life, I feel like I would feel more me. I feel like I'm kind of trapped inside this vessel that other people see that is not me. And I've been waiting to get out for 30 years. Mm-hmm. And I feel like others could see the sides of me that I feel like are hidden underneath the weight.
Got it. Okay. That's helpful for me. So, there's so many good things to talk about here. I'm excited about where to start. I'm not going to start in any place that I think is particularly most important. I'm going to popcorn around a bit. I just want to give you my impressions of our conversation so far. In my worldview, every human being that wants to lose weight is on a weight loss journey. It's not a weight loss program. It's a journey, and by journey with a capital J, it's more than just eat this, don't eat that. It's more than just, well, I'm exercising every day, so now I'm doing it right, and I'm eating the good things, and I'm not eating the bad things. That's not a journey. A journey is where we're going through some different territories. We have ups, we have downs, we have victories, we face demons, we find great allies along the way. A journey is ever changing, and a journey often implies, that there is a gorgeous destination somewhere, and we might need to go through some dark times or some rocky times. And you've been on a weight loss journey from a young age. So what you said about, hey, I like this body, this shell ain't the real me. And I feel like, well, when I weigh what I want to weigh, then people will see the real me. And I'll feel like the real me even more, because the real me is confident. The real me feels good about myself. The real me is going to feel good about, being in my career, being in the work world, being with my husband, all that sort of thing. So you've been on a journey where you haven't arrived quite yet. And I just want to say that's a challenging journey that you've been on. Like listening from the outside to get the message from a young age, hey, Kiersten, you're not approvable as you are right now. You're not exactly lovable as you are right now at this weight, whatever weight you are weighing. We got to fix that. Because if we don't fix that, you are not going to have the goodies. And there's all kind of mixed messages in there. Plus, you're getting that from society as well. It's not like you're just hearing it from the family around you. It's coming everywhere through social media. It's coming through the movies. It's coming through music. Every place is giving us these weird, subtle messages of here's how you have to look to be a winner in the weight world and in the looks world and in the shape world. So it's a deep conditioning. And on top of that, when the people that are supposedly protecting you the most, parents, loving you the most, parents, when they're not protecting your sensitive soul, makes things even harder. And then we get ingrained in us, I have to lose weight to be the real me. Now, one of the things that stood out for me about your story is in a brief 30 years, you've had some real ups and downs in your weight. And another way of saying that is that it's been really hard for you to find your center.
Yeah.
It's been really hard for Kiersten to find home in Kiersten. That's what I hear going on the most.
Yeah, that's a really, really good way to put that.
I'm going to guess that your husband loves you for who you are.
Yep.
And he's not leaving you because you gain a pound or 2 or 10 or whatever, and he's on the journey with you. So, and at the end of the day, yeah, you want people around you to approve of you. Hint, the older you get, the less you care about that.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, sure. Sure, I want people around me to like me and approve of me, but if they don't, it's almost a relief because then I cross off the people that don't belong in my world.
Yeah.
If you don't see me for who I am, if you don't approve of me for who I am, like, great. We should not be spending time together. Don't want you in my world. Regardless of that, you've had a hard time finding home in you. And I would love for you to consider reframing how you look at your weight loss journey.
Okay.
Because you've gained weight and lost it. You can gain weight and lose it, and gain it back and lose it again. So weight loss is eminently possible for you. Weight loss is not your problem. The challenge is you finding home in you and you being able to be present for you and not abandon you.
Yeah.
I think there's a place where some of the big people in your world, when you were young, it probably felt like an abandonment. And it feels like a little bit what's happening now, even though maybe efforts are being made on the other side. There's so much not goodness between you and your family of origin that you have to step away. You have to create a boundary. I understand that. And I think the reason why you have to do that is you're trying to find home in you.
Yeah.
And anything that gets in the way of you finding home in you needs to be put aside because that's the most important thing in your life. Now, again, it likely felt like abandonment. I'm being abandoned. I'm being disregarded. I'm being cast aside by the people who are supposed to be unconditionally accepting me and loving me and caring for me. Here's the weird thing about humans. When somebody commits an offense towards us, even though they might not have meant it, your parents were doing the best job they could. They thought they were helping you. Guaranteed. Yeah. Anytime a parent is like forcing their kids to lose weight, they're thinking in their heads, oh my God, you're going to be a loser at life if you gain weight and if you don't lose it. So, and your parents didn't invent that. You didn't invent it. I didn't. The world gave it to us. We inherited that. So they were doing the best job that they could. But the thing is, you and I, when the insult happens to us, we tend to take that insult and repeat it.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm saying is we unconsciously repeat that insult until we bring it to light and we heal it. So in other words, I think what's happening is there's a sense of, I was abandoned. You didn't stay with me. Y'all were kind of checked out somehow and not really present to me and who I am and what I need. But that's kind of what you do to you when things get rough.
Yeah, I'm repeating that pattern.
Yeah. And you're doing it because that's what you know. Doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It's just that's the pattern that was initiated in you. That's the pattern that was created. The pattern that you were given from a young age is people who are protecting you, people most important to you, somehow like, well, you disappeared on me, you abandoned me, you didn't protect me, you insulted me, you harmed me. Oh, on some level, that's maybe what I deserve, or that's what I'm supposed to do to me.
Yeah. And that's the voice that's constantly there. That's what I was talking about, is that same, I'm aware that I'm doing the same thing to myself, but there hasn't been a breaking of that.
Yes. So age 30 is an amazing turning point in the life of a human being. There's a lot of research out there that shows, and I've certainly seen this clinically, experientially, that once we the 2 years between 28 and 30 are highly transitional years when we start to, and it finishes by 30, we are positioned for the first time to step forward into your life as opposed to live in response to the life you were given.
Mm.
So up to age 30, you're kind of living in reaction to like all this stuff that's happening to you. These people are doing weird things, saying weird things, telling you to go to school, teaching you this, saying that, making you try to lose weight, giving you all these insults, whatever it is. And you have to react somehow because you're a young person. You don't know what to do. And you're trying your best to like, okay, what do? I got to lose weight, but this is so painful. This whole experience of life is so painful. What's the one thing that makes me feel good?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's this weird double bind because you're supposed to not eat food so you can lose weight. But the only thing that actually feels good is food.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
And you want to turn to it. And it's kind of the enemy, but it's kind of your friend, but it's kind of the enemy, it's kind of your friend. And you're going to be confused.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where you've been, and where I see you at now is that you're poised to turn the ship around. You're poised to now say, okay, I don't have to live in reaction to my parents anymore.
Yeah.
And one of the ways you're doing that, you're creating some separation, you're creating space so you can start to experience who is Kiersten without that input. And at the same time, to me, the key practice to focus on is you learning how to stay with yourself and not check out when you have uncomfortable emotions or uncomfortable experiences. Because the young person in us, I mean, think about it, we are all programmed as human beings from a young age and from generations before us. It's in your DNA. Feel bad, eat food, feel better. Take any crying, screaming little infant, give them bottle, give them mama, give them breast. Instantly, they are relieved and they are happy. So you know in your cells, feel bad, eat food, feel better. It's ingrained in us. And that's instant gratification. The infant wants instant gratification. So you're learning right now how to be the new you. You're learning how to be with yourself so that your body can find its natural weight. You're not learning how to lose weight. Weight loss is not what you're trying to do. I know you might think that. Weight loss will be a side effect of what you're trying to do, which is stand by myself, be present to myself. Oh, okay, I'm feeling uncomfortable emotions. Oh, I want to turn to food. Oh, that's my instinctive habit that every other human being has and that I've been doing for years. What else can I do in that moment? How do I stay present to myself and not do something that's going to take me in a different direction. So part of you is learning how to let go of instant gratification. Food for you still means instant gratification. Food for a lot of people means instant gratification.
Yeah.
Food for me, I feel like I have a great relationship with food, and sometimes I just want instant gratification. It's sometimes. So you're learning how to let go of that and learn to be with yourself and your emotions in different ways. How do I regulate my emotions other than food? How do I not check out?
That was my next question.
Yes. So that's the question. So that is the question. How do I not check out? The way you don't check out is you understand that you do check out.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and this isn't you. This is all human beings. Whenever we experience discomfort, one of the strategies that a human being has when I'm experiencing discomfort, unwanted emotions, pain is I want to check out. Let me watch a movie. Let me surf the internet. Let me watch porn. Let me go buy stuff. Let me eat food. Let me do alcohol. Let me do drugs, whatever it is. We check out. We go somewhere else that has nothing to do with where we just were and where we need to be with it, which is with our uncomfortable emotions. You never learned how, you were not taught how to work with your own discomfort.
Yeah.
You did the best you knew how to do, which is what most people knew how to do, which is you go to food. So we first have to realize, oh, I do check out. Where's the places where I tend to check out? I tend to check out when there's experiences that I don't like. I just can't deal with. I don't want to deal with this. Or it really hurts me, or it triggers me, whatever it is, for you to start to notice where you check out. Because the places you and I check out are, another way of saying that is, we go dark, we go unconscious. And when we go dark and unconscious, the automatic habit takes over. The automatic habit is eat, feel bad, eat food, feel better. So the moment you check out, I don't want to be here, this is uncomfortable. Great, here comes the automatic habit. Oh, eat food. All or nothing mentality that you mentioned, I need to be on a plan. Now, that may be true for you right now, but I want you to be curious about that. And here's what I mean. Because the all or nothing consciousness generally has us losing. It generally sets us up for failure because it's really asking us to be perfect. Okay, I'm going to do a keto diet. Keto diet's very specific. Paleo diet's very specific. A vegan diet's very specific. Take any specific diet, it's very specific. HCG diet, very specific. The moment you break the rule, and you will, because you have, and you know you will, and I know you will, I know everybody will, because it's always happened.
Yeah.
There's very few human beings on the planet who can follow a perfect diet perfectly. Because you'll crave something, because you're human, because we're not perfect. But then what happens is the all or nothing mentality says, well, wait a second. If you're not doing it perfectly, then you're a loser. You lost. You didn't do this perfect. You're not perfect. How dare you?
Yeah.
And therefore, what's the logical conclusion? Well, party time.
That's right.
Screw all that.
Yeah.
That's teenager consciousness.
Yeah, it's rebellious.
Completely.
Yeah.
It's completely rebellious. And it's good to be a rebel. I like the rebel in you, but we want the rebel in you to work for you, not against you.
Okay.
I got a lot of rebel in me. I took my rebel energy, and instead of getting myself into trouble, I learned how to be more rebellious in my profession. I learned how to say things that maybe the field of nutrition or psychology didn't want to hear, that I thought was more interesting, more useful, and more cutting edge. I don't care what you guys have to say. And I used my rebel energy to do good things.
I love that.
So you have a lot of rebel energy. We just want to harness her so she's working for you and not against you. in a strange way, creating a boundary with people who you don't want in your life right now, that to me is positive rebel energy.
Okay.
Because you said to me, you love your family.
I do.
It's not like you're sitting around going, yes, I win, got rid of these losers. No, but it takes that's a little bit of a rebellious act.
Mm.
But it's done with something good in mind. So I would love for you to consider decommissioning the all or nothing approach. And instead of all or nothing, it's if you do a keto diet, then do it as best you can. And if you don't do it perfectly, no punishment.
That's a new concept.
Yeah. If you don't do anything perfect, I don't care what it is, you don't abandon yourself. You stay present with yourself. Oh, yeah, I just ate something that's on my, I really didn't want to eat that list. And instead of, you now need to be punished, you're a bad girl for eating a bad food, it's like, oh, you know something? That's understandable. You're going to be a good mother to you. You're going to be a better mother, a better parent to you than your parents were. What would a good parent do? They wouldn't smack the kid if the kid was trying to, withhold from eating certain things, but couldn't resist. No, big hug. It's okay. You're trying.
I have a question about that, actually. I've been working on moments of self-compassion and grace, which I think is what you're talking about for myself.
Yes.
I have that $1 to $100 nothing perfectionism thing that it's been, an enemy for a little while. I find that it's so much easier to have that compassion and grace for the people in my life that I love, my friends, and to be that voice of compassion for them. Mm-hmm. But the minute I try to turn it inward, it just shuts off. Yes. So what would you recommend to because I've been aware of it, but actively engaging in that process in a way that's productive instead of just, I'm dealing with this again,
Mm-hmm. Great question. There's probably a lot of answers. You're on the road because you already have that capability that you can grant to others. So you already know what it feels like in your body.
Okay.
What it feels like in my body when I'm helping another person feel compassion and forgiveness for themselves. There's a certain feeling that you have. It's almost as if you invoke that feeling when you've committed a quote unquote eating crime. And, what would it feel like if I was forgiving my husband, my loved one? If I was telling them, honey, it's okay. There's a vibe that you have in your body when you're telling somebody, big hug, honey, it's okay. I still love you. You're going to get through this. So you're literally calling forth that feeling in your body and figure out the easiest way to call it forth. Like who is just somebody that you just easily love on and forgive and help them out and it feels good to them. Just recall any moment or instance. And as you recall that, then say, I'm in that feeling right now. What would it feel like to point that at me? And it's a practice. You're not going to get it perfect. It's like little homeopathic dosages of forgiveness.
Well, and it sounds like you're saying, don't start in my head, which is what I've been doing with the logical working it through, engage with my body and kind of the feelings side of it, which is the opposite approach to what I've tried.
Yes, because forgiveness is actually ultimately, it's a feeling in your body. Yes, your mind identifies it as forgiveness, but it's a feeling. You feel it.
Yeah.
So you invoke that feeling, but on behalf of somebody else, and then notice if you can
redirect it.
a little bit of that towards you.
Okay.
And like I said, it's a practice. You can practice it every day. And some of the other pieces we've been talking about, I just want to make sure we're capturing this, is understanding. And you're so positioned because you see that perfectionism is your enemy. And that's a pretty good definition. It is an enemy. It's a soul killer. It always wins. You see, perfection, the promise of perfectionism, if you think about it, is that if I'm perfect, if I eat perfect, if I weigh perfect, if I look perfect, I'm above criticism.
Mm-hmm.
You can't say a damn bad thing about me because I'm perfect.
That's right.
Can't criticize perfect. So therefore, I'm immune to bad feelings. I'm immune to all your bad vibes. I'm immune to my own bad vibes because I'm so perfect. But it's a hypothetical, illusory state.
It's like a false sense of safety that is unachievable.
Yes, because we're humans.
Yeah.
We're messy. We're born, it's birth. It's a messy, bloody, screamy, uncertain process. Death is the same way. Life is the same way.
Yeah.
There's all kind of moments of joy throughout, but life is messy. We're constantly cleaning stuff up. And we're not perfect. We don't have perfect control over just about anything. So part of what you're forgiving yourself for is just for not being perfect. And for having even the belief that I ought to be perfect.
Yeah.
And again, you didn't invent that. You inherited that from the world. So we're trying to extract a viral belief that we inherited from the environment that found its way inside us. That's why it's so difficult, because it's literally a viral belief and it's got a lot of power, has a lot of momentum. So your job is to find your natural weight, not by going on weight loss programs. And you might do that. You might hire a weight loss coach. You might go on a fitness program. You might choose a diet. But I'm still going to say that's not your main activity. Your main activity is finding home in Kiersten. Just how can this feel like home? And this feels like home when you can safely go to yourself. And even though you screwed up, even though you overate, even though he told me not to check out and I checked out. Big hug. Forgive yourself. That means you're home for you. That's what you would do for any of your loved ones. You wouldn't push them away. You wouldn't say, oh my God, you overate. I am not going to be your friend. I'm not going to love you until you're perfect. You wouldn't say that to them, but you kind of say that to you.
Yeah, it's very true.
So we want to start to have you talk to you the same way you talk to the people you love, as a good model. Would I talk that way to my husband? Would I talk that way to my child? And this is such good work to do now on yourself, because every piece of good work that you do on you is, chances are, less work that your child has to do on themselves.
And that's a big reason why I'm here. Yeah.
So it's not about the weight. It really isn't about the weight. It's about you being able to feel safe with you now, that you're a place of safety. Your heart is a place of safety for you. Your own soul is a place of safety that you can self-soothe. And in the moments where you can't self-soothe, you go to the people who can help soothe you. So if you don't have the ability to regulate your own emotions in a certain moment, you go to your husband, you go to your friend, you go to whoever that person is, like, hey, I need help. I really want to stay present with myself. I don't want to go dark and then find myself eating and pop out later. You are safest to you when you are just awake and present to your life.
Mm.
When you say the weight crept up on me, yeah, that happens to us for sure. But there was a part of us that has to go a little bit asleep.
Yeah, absolutely.
For that to happen. So, okay, so now you can learn from that experience. So what's going to help you lose weight is not eating less food.
Yeah.
What's going to help you lose weight is, oh, I'm present to myself. I'm hungry. I need to eat. What would nourish me? Oh, here's a good meal I can choose. What helps you lose weight is, I just ate and I'm not feeling so good about myself right now, and I'm about to eat. And I'm about to potentially go down a black hole. What else can I do? Might be good for you to write an inventory, a what else inventory. What else helps you regulate difficult emotions and experiences? Like for me, music, happy, sweet animal videos, getting out in nature.
Yeah. Journaling is helpful.
Journaling, talking to whatever it is for you. Have your what else inventory, have a list of here's the other things I can do other than eating to help prompt your mind, because the old habit in us, the old negative habit that's automatic and repetitive and unconscious, wants you to go to sleep when you have a difficult emotion. Wants you to go to sleep and eat. And it's an automatic habit. You're not even thinking to do it. It does itself. You don't wake up in the morning and say, I really have to make sure that I go unconscious and eat when I don't want to eat. It does itself. So the only way we can shift a habit that's automatic and unconscious is to introduce consciousness, introduce awareness, bring in present, and to stay present in the moment that I would normally just want to go to sleep and then escape from. And in a strange way, for me and you, that's called growing up. It's called maturing. It's called, for you, it's learning how to be a woman. It's learning how to be a better parent, a better mother for you than your parents were. And that's not to judge them. It's just they did the best they can. And now you're taking over.
Yeah. And I want to, like you mentioned, I want to model a healthy relationship with my body for our future children. I don't want them to see me looking in the mirror and start to look in the mirror the same way, you know? And I guess a question I have, you're talking about me feeling safe in me, not just my body, but as Kiersten. And you're talking about it being a journey. Is there a destination? Because I think at 30, having had my whole life struggled with this, there's been a waning of hope that I can ever achieve that peace. And so when I hear journey, I'm like, it's a long process. Here I go again, you know? And I guess I want to know when or how it will be that I feel the sense of settling into who I am.
Yeah, great question. So lots of answers. Let me pick an answer that I hope might be useful for you. So one great line is often said is that the journey is what informs the destination. If we want a destination of peace and happiness, the journey itself must have some elements of peace and happiness. It doesn't mean that the whole journey is all peaceful and happy. It just means that there's elements of it in there. So everybody's trying to lose weight by self-attacking, self-hating, self-deprivation, dieting, extreme exercise. I hate my body. To this day, I've been doing this work 40 plus years. I've never met a single person that said, I hated my body for decades. I spoke ill of myself for decades. And one day I woke up and the weight was gone and I love myself.
Right.
Doesn't happen. So it's you beginning to find moments of peace and wholeness along the way. And once you find even one in a week of, I'm okay with myself. I'm good with this, you know, here in my body right now. I'd like to lose 100 pounds, but you know something, body? Big hug. I don't have to beat your ass into submission to lose weight. Don't do what other people did, which was bully you about your weight.
Yeah, right.
Don't bully yourself. Don't berate yourself.
It doesn't work.
Doesn't work.
It hasn't worked so far.
Right. It hasn't worked so far. Trust me, it's never going to work. So you can still wish to lose weight and you can still be loving and kind towards your body. It doesn't mean you have to say, yes, this is the body I want. I mean, that would be great. The more you can want this body that you have right now, easier it is to have the body you want. The more you want the body you have right now, easier it's going to be to have the body that you want because you're already like, yes, this is what I want. Thank you, God, for giving me a body that still is healthy. It's gotten me here. And it may be up and down in its weight, but hey, I got a great relationship. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I got a good brain. I'm a good person. Got some good things going on in my life. So just pumping a little bit of gratitude into the system. And the more moments of peace and wholeness you can find with your body, the more that multiplies.
Mm.
It just feels good. You want more of it. You naturally will create more of it. That doesn't mean there won't be moments of challenge. That doesn't mean you won't have setbacks. Expect to have setbacks. Expect to forget everything I said and every good feeling that you've had in this conversation. And in those moments, that's the moment where you go, oh, I really need to stand by myself. I'm not going to abandon myself. How do I love myself through this? How do I reach out for help and support? How do I reach out for love? How do I nurture myself even though I'm not liking myself right now? Maybe I take a walk. Maybe I play some music. Maybe I just tell my husband, honey, I just need you to listen to me. I just need you to hug on me and kiss me, whatever it is. You just be vigilant about, I'm going to stand by myself and not abandon myself. Hope is something, faith is something we invoke. You call it forth. And when you call it forth, it has power.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you call it forth and it doesn't feel like it's coming, but it's on its way.
And I think that the not abandoning myself sounds like almost like my new mission. And with a mission and a new trajectory comes like those hints of hope, because I'm doing something different. I'm going to try something I've never tried before.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some hope in that. And so clinging to that, it sounds like what you're saying is the self-love will snowball, the hope will snowball, like things will build on themselves, which in and of that is very hopeful.
Yes, exactly. And your body is hungry for love and acceptance.
Yes.
Your body is hungry for you to feel at home inside of it. Because we've been bullied about the body. Our body has been insulted from the outside. And then we continue the insult.
Yeah.
I will bully my body into losing weight. I will give you 500 calories a day and I will starve you and you will lose weight. And it might, but then they're going to pop back on because it's not how a body works.
Yeah.
Body doesn't want 500 calories a day. So you're learning how to love yourself into your body, love yourself into your natural weight. There's no fight necessary. Nothing to fight. Fighting hasn't worked and it's not a fight. There's no fight.
And I'm exhausted.
Yes, because you've been fighting.
Yeah.
And when you fight you lose.
Yeah.
You can't win that fight. So it's calling a ceasefire, which is not always easy because the habit is to self-attack. The habit is, no, I gotta fight this. And so it takes a surrender. I let go of this fight. I give it up. I'm willing to try something new because my way of fighting myself hasn't worked.
Yeah. Yeah. And letting go is hard when your body's been in survival mode for so long. Like fight is that instinct, not only in my body towards myself, but in general, just to survive everything I've been through. And so the surrender is definitely a challenge. But when I've been able to surrender fight in other ways, it has produced really beautiful fruit.
Mm.
And so I think what it sounds like is by extension of those lessons I've learned, I need to allow that within myself as well.
Well said. Well said. Kiersten, you have all the tools to get where you want to go. I have no doubt. I'm betting on you. Not even concerned about losing here. It's you're right on target. You're right on time. I don't think you've lost any time. I don't think it's about, oh my God, you got to catch up. No, this has been your unique and beautiful journey. And we all have a different journey. And this has been yours, and this is yours. And part of it is embracing, okay, this is my journey. Don't always like it. Figure out a different one. And this is mine. And I'm going to now embrace it and not check out from it. I'm going to now respond to it. I'm going to be the adult for me that I never quite had in my life, the good parent for me that I never quite had. And I'm going to practice not abandoning myself. I'm going to practice staying in my body. I'm going to practice relaxing into my body and feeling into my body. Because if you want to shapeshift your body, by the way, which is a big ask, like changing the body's form is a big ask. So the thing we have to do is to occupy it.
Mm.
You want to get the car to go somewhere, you got to sit in it.
Yeah.
You can't just go, well, I'm not going to get in my car until it looks like a Rolls Royce. Okay, well, we're not going to get anywhere.
Yeah.
Usually the promise is, and this might be a good place to finish up. Usually the promise is, and you kind of alluded to this at the beginning, it's like, well, when I have this body that I'm dreaming about, then I'm going to be the real me. So we're making the real you dependent on your billboard.
Yeah.
And the reality is you can be the real you anytime you want. You can start being the real you, and you are today. And you've been the real you. But there's just been a part of you that just believes that, well, there's the real me.
Yeah.
And it's fine to have your preferences. Yeah, I want to have a body that I want to feel lighter. I don't want to have this back pain. Great. That's your preference. That's your desire. You ought to have that. It's natural for you. So you can still be the real you. You can still be confident. You can still be confident at work and with other human beings. You can learn how to be confident and sexy and sensual with this body that you have right now with your loving partner. You don't have to wait for that. How do you start doing that now? Because then you're bringing it forth now. You're having those moments now. And you're loving yourself in the places that somehow got labeled unlovable. Somehow we're told, your body fat is unlovable. Your weight is unlovable. That was the message. So now you're giving yourself that message because it was given to you. So the way we stop that message is today, is now. It's not, we don't stop the message when we lose the weight. Oh, now the body's lovable because all those people were right. I could only have a lovable body if it looks a certain way. It's like, no, you can have a lovable body at any weight, and you have a particular preference for what your weight is. Sure. Okay, let's get there. Here's how we get there.
Right. Yeah.
We start loving on the body that we have right now, and we love it to the place where it wants to go.
And even if I don't believe that right now, because if I'm being totally honest, that's been a hard thing when you hear like love where you're at, love your body. Is it fake it till you make it? Like, if, when you say you could be sexy and feel beautiful and confident in your body now, I don't resonate with that feeling. So
Yes.
Is it those small moments?
Yes. It is a certain amount of fake it till you make it. Fake it till you make it is also, it's like dress rehearsal. It's practice. It's let me try this.
Okay.
It's let me move through a fear. The fear is you won't love me. You won't think I'm sexy if I act sexy with this body.
Mm.
Yeah, it's also the fear is I'm not going to think I'm sexy if I try to act sexy with this body.
Right.
Okay. That's why it's good to get help. I.e., that's why it's good to be in a loving relationship where you have somebody who's loving on you more than you're loving on yourself. It's a great tool. It's a great tool to use that wonderful advantage of here's a person who's like loves you, doesn't have the same mind chatter going on about you that you do.
Absolutely.
So it's let me see if I can take in that sensation. Oh, you really want to touch me. Oh, you really love me. Oh, you really find me sexy. I would love for you and your husband to invent some type of date night where you get to explore your boundaries around that.
Mm.
And you brainstorm ideas, but you set the parameters so they feel comfortable for you. A little edgy, but comfortable.
Yeah.
Because the reality is, let me tell you what happens. I've met so many people who they shapeshift their body, they lose the weight, and they look as hot as they think they're going to look, but they're still the same person inside.
Right.
They're still like, ooh, I'm not a sexy person. I'm not a sensual person. I don't know how to be in my body. I'm insecure. And they're faced with the same thing. I'm sure you've met women in your life who have all the looks and everything, and they're insecure about their bodies.
Yeah.
It's an inner quality. I'm sure you've come across women. It's all the time. I see them and I meet them, big-bodied women who are in their sexy. They're just, they are unabashed about being a big-bodied woman. So theoretically, doesn't matter what the body looks like. It matters what's going on inside. And therefore, it's a practice. Is a practice in, let me see if I can have a moment of, let a little bit of love in. Just a little. It doesn't have to be a lot.
Thank you for giving me the tools to kind of start that practice. I really appreciate it. Yeah,
I've so loved this conversation. I just appreciate you being so open and so real and so honest and so clear. I really believe that you have such a clarity around yourself, and you're just learning to really apply it to places that have not been easy for you.
Right.
Because I'm sure you can take your sharp mind and your clarity and apply it to other places in life and be really smart and effective and successful. We all have the places where we're just, we're a little more uncomfortable and a little more uneasy. So this is just Kiersten learning how to be in her body. And it's kind of fun if you think about it.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Kiersten. I really appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. And thanks everybody for tuning in. Take care, my friends.
Hey friends, we're so happy that you've joined us for another episode of The Psychology of Eating with Marc David. Are you loving these episodes? Then simply subscribe and you'll never miss an episode again. We'd also love it if you'd leave us a comment below so we can hear more about your own journey with food and body. And if you're curious about what we offer at the Institute for the Psychology of Eating, including our internationally acclaimed coach certification training that's rooted in dynamic eating psychology and mind-body nutrition, please head on over to our website, psychologyofeating.com. Until next time, take care, and remember, having the body you want starts with loving the body you have